Hi guys, this is Jerry and this is the all-new BYD Atto 1. In this video, I want to tell you everything you need to know before buying the BYD Atto 1 in the New Zealand market. After spending a week with this vehicle, I'll let you know everything I like and everything I don't like about this little hatchback. First thing, price and specification for the New Zealand market. This vehicle we are driving today is the Essential. This is considered to be a base model, 29,980 plus ORC. If you want to go to the higher spec, you will be paying 35,990 plus ORC for the premium. The differences between these two are quite huge. Not only you see the 6 grand jump, but also you see the bigger battery, higher kilowatts of power for the single motor, bigger alloys, rain-sensing wipers, LED headlights. After that, you get electric heated seats at the front, electric folding wind mirror as well. Well, if you don't mind the lower kilometers, if you don't mind the base spec, the Essential is a very good package for the price value. But if you're worried about range and other things, I guess the top spec feels a better buy in comparison. Anyway, for the exterior dimensions, the Atto 1 is just under 4 meters long with the wheelbase sits at 2.5, so it's a tiny little hatchback. It's very similar to something like a Suzuki Swift or a Toyota Yaris in comparison. The exterior design on this vehicle is very unique. Not only do you get this striking, sleek design at the front, again, in the overseas market, this is named as BYD Seagull. Look at that. There is some BYD Seagull lines over here. As we mentioned, we have the daytime running lights, just like that. On the side, 15-inch, well, not alloys, they are steel wheels with hubcaps, which is quite unusual for new cars these days. But again, the price is pretty well spec'd at this price range. On the side, you get plastic covers all the way along underneath, and the roofline on this feels quite high for a small hatchback like this. That means you get plenty of good headroom, and you get this circular design which looks very similar to a BYD Atto 3. Then coming to the back, I love the rear tail lights. They look rather cool, and a big spoiler on the top with some karting lines over here. This part looks quite good on the Atto 1. On the badge side, you get BYD, EV and Atto 1 just over here. From the exterior, the easiest way to tell this one against the high spec is its alloy wheel. The high spec will get 16-inch, where this will only get 15-inch. Opening the charging port, we will find AC and DC fast charge. AC up to 11 kilowatts, DC up to 65 kilowatts or 85 kilowatts if you go to the higher version. The battery size on this base model is 30 kilowatt hour, that means 220 kilometers WLTP range. The highest spec gets over 43 kilowatt hour battery, and the WLTP range goes 310 kilometers instead. Both batteries are LFP technology, BYD's Blade battery of course. Opening the tailgate, these are all my luggages for daily runs. You get just over 300 liters of total volume. You get good clearance on the top, but not much in terms of depth. You are able to drop the seats 50-50 split. That means you are going to get just over 1,000 liters of combined volume. For a size vehicle like this, I think that's pretty good actually. Underneath, you will find your charging cables and things, plus your vehicle to load function. Over here, this part is not really my favorite. The bumper of the rear design extends quite a bit. So that means when you take things out, you're gonna scratch this part quite easily. But the good thing about this part is that at least not body panels like here. You are going to see plastic bumpers, so I guess they are somehow scratch resistant. Both versions will only get manual tailgate, and after the manual tailgate, you will see the BYD Atto 1 does not have any rear wiper, so that can be an issue on a rainy day. At the front, there is no frunk for the Atto 1. For the rear seats, the door opening feels really wide. The material quality isn't premium, but it's also not something you'd expect at this price range. You got some plastic trims over here and soft padding, leather padding over here. The seat bases are really long actually, and this vehicle will only be sold as a 4-seater version in the New Zealand and Australian market. Well, technically you don't need to have a 5-seater for the small hatchback like this, because you can't fit anyone inside the vehicle anyway. And at the front, that has been set to my driving position. I'm about 178 centimeters tall. I've got okay amount of legroom actually, not too bad, and I don't feel terrible inside the vehicle. You got pockets over here, some storage over here, there's no air vents, there is no USB charging and things like that, and also there is no armrest in the center. For me, I've got good amount of headroom on top of me, and the visibility for the back is pretty good. I do not have too much of a complaint. The seat back is quite straight up, but it's not really uncomfortable. For the price range and for the size of this vehicle, you'll be fine. In terms of the front, the seats are exactly the same as the top version. You get leather trims over here and contrast on the side, so gray and black over here. I do like the look of the seats. They're not too boring. Am I correct? I think so. Anyway, for the base model, you only get the sliding underneath and also recline for the back. There is no adjustment for the base up and down. For my suggestion, I want you to make sure you are okay with that before you go ahead and buy the base model. Otherwise, the top spec will get the electric seats so that you can adjust the seat base. Alright, let's step inside. This is how the steering looks like. This is pretty much the same steering like a BYD Atto 3. You get controls on the right, cruise controls on the left and things. You do get indicators and light control on the left, window wipers on the left. In front of us, that's a small screen, but it's enough for daily drive. You do get different functions, everything in the center if you want to change anything like that. And then on the right, on the left, that's going to show your gauges and speedo and things. There is no head-up display, but you also don't expect that to happen at this price range. In the center, this is a 10.1-inch display. After all, the graphics looks alright, and you have no issue control most of the things. The screen is relatively zippy, so definitely better than something you find on a Dongfeng box, by the way. On top of that, you do get wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay as standard. Click over here, you will find most of the things about AC control, and remember, if you don't want to go through that, your 3 fingers will change your fan speed, up and down will change your temperature. My only small complaint about temperature is there is no readings on the temperature. It just shows number 1 to number 16, I believe. No, 17, I think. Not the best because I can't see what numbers I'm doing, and also because there's no numbers, when you talk to the BYD assistants, you can't really say what numbers or what temperature you want to say. You have to say a number 8 or temperature and things. Again, my small issue, but most people are going to be okay with that in your daily drive. Remember, if you go to the higher version, you will get heated seats on the front seats, which this one misses that. In the settings, there are plenty of settings you can select. I think it's mostly logical. Some of them can be not as easy as to find, but I'm used to these screens. It is very easy for me to find most things and set most things up for me. Over here, you will find other apps. Not only you have Spotify, you also have BYD Store for music and things. You also have smart charging, BYD Assistance, and all that things. So yeah, that's actually popped up. And reverse camera looks like this. It's alright, not too bad for the quality. You do have parking sensors at the back, I think at the front as well. But if you are driving the high spec, you will get the 360 surround view camera. Underneath, some physical buttons, just like the BYD Dolphin. Gear shifter over here, some buttons to change your mode and also your aircon and things. Volume control is also over here. And these things, I don't really like them. You need to press up, and sometimes it's not easy to see them at dark. But luckily, most of the things you don't need to press anyway. These are just quick buttons, but I don't use them very often. Underneath, below the 2 air vents, you do have a storage pad over here. If you go to the high version, this will become a 50-watt wireless charging. Over here, 2 cup holders, 1 deep, 1 not so deep. Underneath, good amount of storage, plus 3 charging ports, 2 USB and 1 12-volt socket. Over here, good amount of storage over there. So yeah, interior is alright for the BYD Atto 3. And on the side, you get a lot of plastic trims along the vehicle, but over here, at least you get some leather paddings over here. I think interior quality for this vehicle, it's up to its price tag. It's not too bad, it's not too premium either. And then on top of that, we will see things like airbags, driver monitoring system. The good thing about this little car is it's very different from the Chinese domestic version, according to BYD New Zealand. They've improved a lot of safety technologies on this vehicle, making this car a 5-star NCAP rating. This is also one of the cheapest vehicle you can get with the 5-star NCAP rating. And that's definitely a good news for the safety part if you are concerned about safety for your families or for yourself. Alright, next, let's take the BYD Atto 1 for a drive to see how the drive goes. First thing, visibility around the vehicle. Excellent. For a small car like this, you're pretty much guaranteed to see everything around you. Even if the rear windscreen isn't the largest, you still get plenty of view around the vehicle. Power and drivetrain for the Atto 1 fully electric vehicle with a single motor at the front. This base model Essential has 65 kilowatts of power, 175 Newton meters of torque. If you go to the Premium, you will get more power, 115 kilowatts of power and more than 220 Newton meters of torque. From 0 to 100, the base model is 11.1 seconds from factory and 9.1 seconds for the higher version. Is the base model really slow and really struggle off the line? Well, not really. For comparison, if you are driving something like a new Suzuki Swift 1.2 liter turbo mild hybrid or a new Toyota Yaris with the hybrid technology, the pickup feels very similar to those vehicles. None of them are a fast car, let's put that way, but do you think that's adequate for daily drive? I actually think so. This base model feels fun, but guaranteed, if you go to the higher version, you will get better chance of overtaking someone on the motorway if you are trying to sprint from 80 to 100. But is the base model bad? Not really. I'm okay with it. I've been driving this for the whole week. I've never felt I'm struggling with its power, let's put that way. That's close to a full throttle acceleration. It's alright actually. It doesn't really do much wheel spin either, so must be a good sort of tires or maybe just better throttle control in some way. Alright, sport mode, 1, 2, 3. 0 to 50 is fun actually. I don't feel it struggles at all. Does the job, it's no issue at all. You are able to change the drive mode, by the way, from eco, comfort to sport, and then you are able to change the region braking from standard to heavy. Well, even if it says heavy, you don't get much region out of a BYD, let's put that way. Under standard, it feels quite linear, quite gentle on the pulling. It's alright, it does the work, but if you like the, let's say, sensation of the one pedal driving, you wouldn't be able to get it from the BYD Atto range. From the 1 to the 3, they are all the same. And let's go back to the normal mode. Suspension wise, this vehicle has MacPherson struts at the front and then torsion beam struts at the back. Is it premium? Still, it's not a premium setup at all, but is it fun for daily drive? Absolutely. It does the job easily when you go around the corners, go through any certain bumps and things like that. Is it sporty feel for the driving? Well, in some part it is, but if you are driving really fast, you are actually turning the vehicle, there is still some sort of body roll around the corners. You definitely do not want to push this too hard. I feel like the steering isn't as quick as something from a Suzuki Swift. But is it solid on the road? Still fun. You're not gonna struggle on any surfaces. On this road over here, you can hear the noises, but it's pretty much average compared to most other cars. You're not gonna expect that the vehicle's damping or in terms of soundproofing system to be much better than some other cars at this price range. And when you go through certain bumps, you are going to see the body, you're going to see the jump and things. Like I said, it's not going to have a best premium feel on the road, but it is fun as a daily drive for average commuter and things. By saying the commuter wording, I guess most people are going to use this vehicle as a commuter vehicle. Really, it's not built to be something incredible for a long drive or for a fancy, fast drive. It is really just built for a simple commute drive vehicle. And where we are also traveling between trucks and things, you are going to pick up noises around the vehicle. Noise isn't a good thing about this BYD Atto 1. You are going to get quite some wind noise and surrounding noise when you are moving along at a higher speed. Especially on the motorway, the wind noise on this vehicle is quite huge. It's alright, and just remember, if you are driving this on a city road, it feels quite zippy actually. Between 0 to 50, you have no struggle on the power delivery. Just don't mind the 65 kilowatts numbers suggests. I know when people look at the numbers, they will be like, oh, I can't cope with the 65 kilowatts, it's too little and things. But when you start driving this vehicle seriously, it's fine. It's okay for what you need as a daily drive. Alright, we will be able to do a small acceleration over here. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so obviously with a little bit help of the downhill from there, car feels fine, going up to 100 kilometers per hour, and you should have not much struggle unless you're carrying luggage in the back. You're carrying 4 total adults in the vehicle. I think that's where you may struggle. Going up the hill, I think it will be fine for most of the scenarios, unless you are, driving on a rainy day and things like that. And now on the motorway, vehicle still feels relatively solid on the road. I've had a quite windy day the other day, driving this literally through the Auckland Harbour Bridge. Feels fun. It's not wobbly, it's not bouncing around, keeps you safe on the road. Since we are talking about keeping you safe, remember this is also one of the cheapest brand new vehicle you can buy on the market that gets you 5-star NCAP rating. And anyway, last thing, what are my verdicts about the BYD Atto 1? For the driving part, it's not sensational in any way, but it is also very sensible in most ways. As a daily drive, you'll be totally fine with how this vehicle drives. And at the same time, the exterior styling looks very interesting in some way. The interior build quality is enough for this sort of price tag. The space is okay for 4 people, and it's only going to take 4 people anyway. For the price, I wish the higher spec, higher version gets just a couple grand cheaper. That's going to make the higher version such a better value compared to this base model. Would I recommend the base model to purchase? I think you'll be fine actually. The reason being, if you're only driving around the city and you think 220 kilometers is good enough for you, I think the base model is actually okay and it's a good value. You technically don't need anything else for the specification. Yes, the 360 camera would be nice, LED headlights would be nice, heated seats at the front would be nice, but 6 grand is a lot price to pay given the brand new car of this is $29.90. But at the same time, if you're ever worried about driving range and things, just go for the high spec. There's no argument on that. And that sums up my thoughts for the BYD Atto 1 after 1 week of driving. Do you like this vehicle? Do you not like the BYD Atto 1? Please let me know in the comment section down below. As always, if you found my video helpful, the best way to support the channel is to subscribe and like. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.